Martin, thank you for this opportunity. I've really enjoyed helping out the mountain rescue team, but I've decided I'm going to quit.
Quit? What? You're going to give up?
Give up? Yes.
But why? You're really, really good at it.
Well, I've been out on a couple of rescue missions now, and I still get anxious about it. I worry that we're not going to get there in time, or that I'm going to do something wrong, or that we won't be able to save them.
So?
Well, I shouldn't be getting scared. I've followed all the tips from Gideon's life, but I'm still afraid.
Well, what happened to Gideon after what we've looked at so far? Let me remember what's happened to him so far. So, when we meet him, he was hiding in a vine press and got visited by an angel of the Lord. The angel told him he would defeat the baddies, but Gideon said he was too weak and to choose someone else.
Then God told him not to worry because he would be with him. And so Gideon went and got an offering which the angel set on fire. He realised it was really God speaking to him and panicked. But the angel said he wouldn't be killed.
Then he got told to tear down the false idols, which he did at night because he was very scared. And then he was filled with the power by the Holy Spirit and brought together an army. So, what happened next?
Well, I assume he beat up all the bad guys and won the battle.
What do you mean you assume?
I didn't read it. I was starting to feel so bad that I was still scared even after being filled with the Holy Spirit, so I didn't want to read what Gideon did just to rub it all in about how much of a coward I am.
I have a funny feeling you should give it a read.
All right, good idea. Budget Bible bits. Then Gideon said to God,
"Oh, if you are truly going to use me to rescue Israel as you promised, prove it to me in this way. I will put a wool fleece on the threshing floor tonight. If the fleece is wet with dew in the morning, but the ground is dry, then I will know that you are going to help me rescue Israel as you promised."
No problemo.
And that is just what happened. When Gideon got up early the next morning, he squeezed the fleece and wrung out a whole bowlful of water. Then Gideon said to God,
Please don't be angry with me, but let me make one more request. Let me use the fleece for one more test. This time, let the fleece remain dry while the ground around it is wet with dew.
So that night, God did as Gideon asked. The fleece was dry in the morning, but the ground was covered with dew.
See?
He was still scared too.
Yeah, even after all the signs he already had from God, he still wanted more proof that God was going to use him.
And then, when he got his first bit of proof, he was still worried that it was just a coincidence and asked for another sign.
I do that kind of thing all the time. I doubt God even when he's proved something to me. Like when he heals me when I'm sick, and then I think, oh, that might not have been God, but could have just been because I eat a lot of oranges and so had a lot of vitamin C.
Okay, so what can we learn from this? Firstly, I guess that it's okay to be afraid, even if we've heard clearly from God and he's been speaking to us.
And that you can ask God for clarity.
Yes, we probably shouldn't give God tests like Gideon did, but if we're not sure, we can ask God for more information, or sometimes it's best if we think God's telling us to do something, we should ask some other people what they think, particularly if it's a very big thing.
So God can speak to us through other people.
Yes! One of the main reasons that we gather together on Sundays is to be able to encourage each other and help each other to hear from God, or to figure out if what we've caught from Jesus is from him or not.
Well, how else can we catch from Jesus then?
Well, there's a few ways. I mean, as you saw from Gideon, he caught from God by putting a fleece on the ground. How random. He caught through nature, I guess, through the dew on the ground or on the fleece. Have you ever been to a really lovely place that just looks incredible?
Oh, like Dancing Lead.
That is one of my favourites. I love the landscape, and it reminds me, whenever I'm there, of the one who created it. God can speak to us through what he's made to remind us of his creativity and power and glory.
What else?
Well, what do we do every week? We open up our Bibles. It's the most reliable way to hear from God, because the words written in the Bible are instructions and stories and poems all about how to live our lives, and each thing in the Bible can teach us so many different lessons. The Bible is God's words written down for us to read.
Epic! Yeah, I love how just from hearing about Gideon putting a fleece on the ground, we've learned about how to hear from God. What else?
Pictures. Sometimes Jesus gives us pictures in our head, or sometimes people even see visions, a bit more like a dream or something that is happening to them, and he uses these to encourage us.
Have you ever had a picture?
I once had a picture pop into my head, back when she was still alive, of the Queen cleaning my toilet, and I was pretty shocked. What was the Queen doing in my house cleaning my toilet? That's not where she belongs. Then I realised that it was a picture from God, that he was trying to show me what he was like, that even though he's more powerful than the Queen or King, he would still be willing to clean my toilet to show me how much he loves me.
Amazing! Tell me one more way.
Well, sometimes God speaks to us in the quiet. The Bible describes it as a still, small whisper. But I've never even heard a whisper. Often it's a small thought that pops into my head.
Well, how can you tell it's not just your own thought?
Well, usually it's a thought I haven't really thought before, but it goes in my head in the same place where all my other thoughts go. And usually it's a thought that I don't have to work at too hard. For example, my favourite question to ask Jesus is what his favourite thing is about me. Sometimes a thought pops into my head, happy. I might start to double think it. Well, I haven't been very happy today. Or why would Jesus tell me that I'm happy? That doesn't seem very profound. No, I think Jesus would like to say to me that he likes the way I care for other people and that I need to do much better at that because I'm not as caring as I should be.
The first thought sounded like it was Jesus about being happy. The rest sounds like it was just you thinking using your own brain.
Exactly. So instead of disregarding it, I might ask Jesus, well, why do you love that I'm happy? And then another thought might drop into my head, because I love it when my children are happy. Do you think that's from me, or do you think that's from God?
From God!
Yes, I think so too. I haven't worked hard to conjure that up. It's just what I thought, and it's not a thing that I would regularly think about.
Can we have a go?
Well, yes, of course. Let's spend the rest of this video catching from Jesus. Why don't we, in a moment, close our eyes, and we're going to ask Jesus what is one thing that he loves about you. And whatever thought pops in, go with it. Don't disregard it. Don't try and overthink it. Don't try and make it up in your own head. Sometimes a thought doesn't pop in. You can always ask again. If you just had one word, why don't you ask Jesus why he loves that thing about you and see if you can get an answer. Let's do it together. Eyes closed, hands open. Let's ask Jesus. Jesus, what is one thing that you love about me? I'll tell you what's been happening to me, so it might help you out, right? So I asked Jesus, what's one thing that you love about me? And the first thing that popped into my head was your smile. Now, I don't often think about my smile being very nice or whatever, so I immediately started to think, well, maybe that's just me coming up with something. Then I was like, oh no, this is exactly what we've been talking about. So then I asked Jesus, why do you love my smile? So maybe you've got something in your head. Why don't you ask him, Jesus, why do you love that thing? And then when I asked him that, why do you like my smile? I thought he said, well, it makes me happy to see you happy, which is quite nice.
Thanks, Michael. That was great.
Great stuff. If you didn't catch this time, there is no need to be down about it. Sometimes we just don't, and it can be quite frustrating, but it is okay. Sometimes we can get so caught up in our own head that we've lost track of what thoughts we've had, whether they're from us or whether they're from God or what they are. But you can keep practicing this. You can practice it anywhere. Give it a go at different times of the day. You might be better at catching in the morning than in the evening or in the afternoon or just whatever you do. Don't give up. Keep asking Jesus. It's a question you can ask him at any time, any place, and often he'll give you a different answer, which is lovely because it leaves me feeling really encouraged. So just ask Jesus when you're out and about, when you're in the bathroom, when you're doing a poo, whatever it is, Jesus, what do you love about me? All right, see you next week.
Bye-bye.